making the payments. The only reason we're here today is because the payments weren't all made within a 10-year period. But she was paying what she could and continues to pay what she can.
Actually, we're here today because you embezzled
Well, no,
$120,000 from your employer, which is a ton of money. Where did that all go? Over here, you're looking at, when you look,
I'm sorry.
there's an ultimate, when you look away, that means you're trying to come up with an answer. That's what psychologically it means. You're looking for an answer of what does he want to hear and
No.
how can I
sir.
how can I best serve myself here on this? Where did it all go?
At the time I was married.
Anything else, man? You have a voice.
It's just frustrating that no matter what she ever does, she lands back on her feet.
Uh,
She finds somebody to pay it off. It's just disgusting to me that she's not making work and pay it.
Well,
She worked real hard to steal it. Thank you, Judge, for letting me say so.
yes, ma'am.
Today in Judge Stevens' courtroom, we have two cases featuring female defendants both grappling with the weight of unpaid restitution. The first defendant stands accused of embezzling a staggering $120,000 from her former employer, a crime that occurred several years ago. Despite her conviction, she has yet to make amends, and her excuses for the delay are met with skepticism. Our second case introduces another female defendant facing the consequences of her actions, owing $36,000 in restitution. The victim, present in the courtroom, expresses frustration not only with the financial burden, but also with the lack of personal accountability shown by the defendant. It seems that others are frequently stepping in to bail her out, leaving the victim questioning when she will receive the restitution owed. Stay tuned to find out how Judge Stevens navigates these challenging situations and seeks justice for the victims.
097349 is now called. The state of Texas versus Teresa Hammond, and the defendant is present with her attorney and the state's attorney. We've got a motion that's been pending now for 3 years, over 3 years, and it's all about the money.
yes, sir.
The defendant has been on probation since December of 2010, so we're going up on, well, we passed 13 years now. The arrearage as of November of 2020 was $100,608. How much is it now?
It's currently $81,527.
So it's taken 3 years to whittle it down 20,000. Everybody do the math on that.
This
We'll
is
be
one-
here for another 12 years.
This is another one of the situations, Your Honor, where once you ask for her tax returns and incomes, so you can verify, and she provided all that to you, and she's been making as much as she can each month.
I don't know what the updated situation is. Do we have any, are we updating her financial status?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Budget sheet from October.
Okay. Well, how often do we do that? Every year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And would anything change?
I know this upcoming year in June, she's no longer going to be receiving child support in the amount of $935.
So after your income's about to go down her own.
Well, I mean, so what else do you do during the day, though? To honor,
I work
Okay.
in the Gregory,
where?
the Gregory Law Firm for Bruce and Meyer Gregory.
Okay. And, well, I mean, how much, what are you earning on that?
Gross is $3,000 a month. Take home, 44.
At the end of the day, when we consider all income and necessary expenses,
Yep.
how much can you pay a month?
At the end, right now, at the end of the month, I have about a little less than $300 a month left over after paying rent.
Do we have minimum she has to pay per month?
She had,
$500.
which we're not reaching.
No, I am every month. I do
You're doing 500.
Yes, sir.
How can you do that if you just said, this is arithmetic?
That,
You just said
she's taking
three.
that out of that. She has 800 before she makes the $500 payment.
Right. That's
Her
included in that.
little SC. So after she makes the $500 payment and all her expenses, she has less than $300 left over for other expenses and other things. But like I said, or like the probation officer just said in June or the end of May, but beginning of June, her income's actually going to be going down because she's going, our child is graduating high school, her youngest child. So she no longer could be getting child support, which is included in her income here, Your Honor. And how much is your child support right now?
930.
Okay, so
What
yeah,
was the original amount of restitution? You remember?
It's $125,000.
Okay, so we paid 45,000 on in 13 years. And there's still 80,000.
right. And I would like to point out, Your Honor, that otherwise she's had no violation. She's been doing well, except for making the payments. The only reason we're here today is because the payments weren't all made within a 10-year period. But she was paying what she could and continues to pay what she can.
Actually, we're here today because you embezzled
Well, no,
$120,000 from your employer, which is a ton of money. Where did that all go? Over here, you're looking at, when you look,
I'm sorry.
there's an old, when you look away, that means you're trying to come up with an answer. That's what psychologically it means. You're looking up, you're looking for an answer of what does he want to hear and
No.
how can I
No, sir.
how can I best serve myself here on this? Where did it all go?
At the time I was married and my ex-husband had a gym and a lot of that went toward equipment. And we've talked about that before. And you had even asked where all that equipment went. The gym shut down and he ended up selling all of that equipment back then. So.
What do we want to do today? So we have a minimum she has to make. Is that part of a probation order?
She's currently on an active probation, and I believe we put on that conditions of an active probation to be paying $500.
she's on it and she just has to make her monthly payments as a condition of
And
probation.
it's at least 500.
Right. And
You win the
she gets-
lottery or
and
something,
Yeah, and I believe like during the tax return season, she always
So
take out.
we're doing, okay, 500 is 6,000 a year.
We know that.
We can divide that into 80.
I understand your.
7 years.
Hmm?
7 more years, Your Honor.
With 6,000? No, she owes 80 grand. She
More
gets
than that.
6,000 a year. We're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
6, 8 years. Right.
And she did mention to me out in the
No,
hallway,
more
she's
than
looking
that.
for
More than that. 13
extra
12 years.
side work, trying to help pay off some of this. So she's trying to seek extra work and additional work if she can.
Well, it's around you. You're like dragging a
That's what she's
gorilla
trying.
around, and until this can get resolved. But it's an obligation to fixing the mess. It's a way you fix the mess. All right, so we want to review it in 6 months?
That's what I was.
Okay,
suggesting.
thank you. Please get a reset. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
on Miss Morrow, I've got 3 cases here and there's. And this is another matter of restitution. I guess this is restitution day. Wow. Hit me with your best shot from the probation office. So the defendant is present with Mr. Smith, her attorney, and the state's attorney. I'm just going to tell you that the victim in this case has contacted this court stating she's not happy with the restitution.
Well, I have a report
I didn't,
to give.
I couldn't tell you anything. I asked, okay, that's all I can tell you is I'll pass that on to the probation office, which I think I did. And immediately, and that's the only conversation because I don't see Ms.
Well, I
Henderson.
have good news in that regard.
Good. Now I can use some good news.
Your Honor, I had earlier written a letter to the court. I thought I might need the court to amend its terms of the terms of probation, but since then, it turns out I do not need. So
Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
you're welcome, Your Honor. My client told me that, well, I submitted a thing to the court showing that beginning tomorrow, my client has arranged to make a $36,000 payment on her restitution tomorrow.
Okay.
And the same payment of $36,000 will be paid at the same time on the 18th of each year. Now, during that period, that if she was just to do that, the restitution would be paid in full on January the 18th of 2029. However, when I did that schedule, I didn't realize that my client had planned on continuing making her $400 a month payments in addition to that. And so that would mean that it would be moved up. It'd be paid a lot quicker than from January 18th of 2029.
What is, we've got two different victims here, right? Three cases, but MetLife is a victim, right? In two cases?
Well,
And then
the
Ms.
only
Henderson-
victim we're aware of, Judge, is Ms. Henderson.
Okay. Is she the only one? Oh, what's the total restitution owed to her?
Total restitution started at $199,000 and is now down to $184,197.
Yeah, I can understand how she's would not be satisfied. And I'm going to tell you, I've known her. I don't know you very well, but you always seem to be a nice lady. And I'm sad to see that the family situation is what it is. But Miss Henderson is I know her just to be a very reputable lady, classy lady. And I don't know otherwise from you, but this is a terrible event, and I hate to see it with a family. I hope somehow all this can get fixed, but when is this now? How is all this happening?
My client a couple has come in, contacted me, and is going to help her. This is a couple that the court knows. They want to remain anonymous, however.
That's good. I'd rather, the less I know, the better. And that sounds like a
court
very
so the court
generous.
know that they did say that they'd be happy to meet with you in chambers.
I'd rather them be anonymous.
Yes,
I think that's, if they're anonymous, those are the most blessed ones, I think. People who help people anonymously. Those are kind of biblical. But in this one, it's obvious that there's not a doubt that we have an obligation that needs to be paid. And that lady has a right to get her money, the loss. And you have an obligation when a law has been broken to satisfy your obligation. The alternative is 10 years in prison, right?
Yes, sir.
Which kind of prevents you from paying back. Tell me about this 36,000 thing, or
36. The $36,000 is going to be paid on the tomorrow, the first. 36,000, that it be paid annually on the 18th of each January thereafter. She is going to continue to make her monthly payments, which have been $400 a month.
Has she been doing that? Regular? Is that the most you can pay monthly?
Yes.
She even has to work sometimes 2 jobs.
I've worked. 3
Well, I know,
jobs.
so did I, but I just wanted to let you know that she is paying the absolute most that she can pay. So this is a godsend for both her and Ms. Henderson.
What other assets do you have that you can pay the lady back?
I don't own anything. I rent. I work 3 jobs. I've excelled in all 3 of those jobs. I volunteer still continually when I can. I'll do it. I pick up side jobs when I can.
Well, I guess it'd be nice to see that $36,000. You said that's going to happen tomorrow.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, what the court's going to do is then order it to be received or order it to be submitted tomorrow to the probation office. That's a condition of your probation. You're telling me something. I'm going to hold you accountable. That's going to be paid tomorrow. That's a condition of probation, that will be paid tomorrow and then distributed as soon as possible to the victim.
Yes, sir.
Number 1. Number 2, a condition of probation with this information is that 36,000, is it 36?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is it that amount? Do I need to know that or?
I could tell you, Judge, but I have to tell you, Chambers.
All right. That's the most. So 36,000 is going to be applied every January?
And January the 18th.
On January the 18th. That will be a condition of probation. Plus, of course, that you continue your regular monthly obligations. And I want an updated financial statement done so that that's signed, so that if you don't honor it, or if we find out that it's not accurate under oath, then you can be held for perjury as well. But we're pressing. I think it's been far too long that this loss shouldn't have happened in the first place. But the thing about restitution too is you've got $200,000 that under the rules of law, it's the way they are, which are different from federal court, and that you're paying that back dollar for dollar, and there is no interest attached for the loss of the money, which is a crime, I think, in itself. I think that's terrible. I don't know why the legislature doesn't do what the federal government does, and they end up having an assessment of interest that compounds. And people never get out of the hole there, but the loss of money over time is paying it back dollar for dollar. You're still in the hole, and you're victimized forever. But that's the rule, and it's the legislature. Are there any other way of getting assets to the victim from this lady that can be applied for this restitution?
No, Your Honor, it's not. We thoroughly explored that. Not at this time.
You want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm
Miss
curious.
Henderson's here.
I know.
Okay, well, it's unusual, but I want her to be, I want her to be aware of this. She's the injured party. She is entitled for everything to be forthright and up front. And I'm pleasantly surprised that $36,000 is going to happen. If it does, I'll believe it when I see it though.
Yes.
You're going to, yeah.
It's gonna happen. Bill.
Okay, then that's one small step for man.
Take one question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
haven't received anything in 3 months. How is that being paid regularly?
She's paid.
That's a good point.
There was an issue with the way that she was paying at the end of the month, which I need to talk to you about today.
We need to talk to who about? Me?
No, Miss Morrow.
Okay.
She just has to pay a little bit earlier or wait just a little bit longer with the way the payments come in because all her fees are going to restitution. We had to do a debtor form to get the 400 change from supervision fees to restitution.
She's paid.
She is paying.
She paid October, November, and December.
Yes.
But it didn't get to Miss Henderson?
Yeah, it was changed on the 8th of January.
So why didn't it get to Miss Henderson though?
Just because from what I understand, what I was told, she paid on the 31st of December and it was put to supervision fees and transfer fees instead of going to the restitution.
Restitution, I want it always to be
Yeah.
foremost.
And that's how it should be. But there was an error because she paid
Okay,
online.
so how are we fixing that?
The form was completed.
Okay,
so
the
it'd be
form is
changed.
complete. What about those other amounts?
They should be also changed. I'll have to get with bookkeeping to.
Okay,
confirm.
so bookkeeping is going to do that and then
Yes.
it will be made up.
Yes,
That loss will be packaged together
yes, sir.
from the bookkeeping change
Yes, sir.
and then she's going to get an additional amount of money for those last 3 months.
Yes, sir.
When can that be done?
As soon as I get back to.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am? You have a voice.
It's just frustrating that no matter what she ever does, she lands back on her feet.
Uh,
She finds somebody to pay it off. It's just disgusting to me that she's not made it work and pay it.
Well,
She worked real hard to steal it. Thank you, Judge, for letting me say something.
yes, ma'am. All right, well, get that.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, it's important that it gets done, and I hope all of. All right, anything else?
Oh, yeah.
What can you say? It's a broken family that this court hates to see. But I can understand. And that's going to take some time, but y'all need to fix that.
That's right.
Truly. Because families, very special entity that takes everybody to keep it together. And she's been victimized and an extraordinary amount of money. And y'all need to resolve that in a familiar way. That's so that because it's got to bother everybody. Especially after this season. I mean, we all ought to be reminded how special families are. And how it's important. They're important.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.